Now being recorded.
Okay, Bobby, now we're officially here. So tell me about your previous times in Atlantic City. Do you have any special memories of performing there or hanging out there?
I love Atlantic City. Playing there is always fun because you get the people from, so many different cities. You get the Philly people, you get the, Connecticut people, even Boston people come through. So it's always a good time, to perform there. And it's a great time now because after, the storm, I've been really looking forward to, we were supposed to perform there before the storm hit, and we had to postpone the show. So it's just going to be a wonderful time, being in that city again and, playing for the people of that city. I'm really looking forward to it.
I didn't realize you had to cancel the show, so this is rescheduled from the time the storm hit.
Yeah, this is a rescheduled show.
So tell me about the set you have in mind. Are you going to be doing some stuff from the Masterpiece or doing more of your stuff from, earlier in your career? What's the plan?
I plan on doing a little bit of everything. Definitely all of the hits and most of my new album, The Masterpiece, as you mentioned. And probably a few, songs from, other people. I really don't like to set a show. I just like to make sure that the show is entertaining for the people. So me and my band just basically just funk out. We just jam out,
So you just have like a loose plan of what you're going to do and you see where things take you, or?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's the best way. That's the only way I know how to perform is to, perform for the crowd and not just, to set something where they have to follow. But I'm definitely guaranteeing a great show.
Now, tell me about the experience of making your first album in a long time. What was it like to be back in the recording studio? Was it, smooth process? Were you stressed about it? How did it go?
Well, you know what? I've never stopped recording. I always record, songs, but I just felt it was just time for me to, put a new album out. I've been touring for, many, many, many years, by myself with Heads of State and with New Edition. So, I just felt, the need to put an album out, in the state that the music industry is in. I just felt, I wanted to, contribute some good music to what was out there already.
I realize your recording is, over the years, but has the process changed a lot for you in terms of how you approach it from when, 20 years ago till now? Are you more experimental? Do you do it differently? How do you?
It's basically my same process, but I like live music. So I got a chance to work with a lot of great musicians, and and that was the key to this album, being able to feel comfortable with the musicians that I was working with, and I worked with a lot of my bandmates, and just put something great together, and I think it came out really good.
And when you do material, say from New Edition or from your earlier in your solo career, do you change up the arrangements? Do you stay faithful to the hit version that people?
I try to stay faithful to the version that people know. Uh-huh. It's a lot better, and if I could still hit it, I might as well sing it to the people so they can sing along with me, and I appreciate that.
Now, when you were working on some of the material, with the Don't Be Cruel and that the sound, New Jack Swing was sort of coming into its own. I mean, did you realize it was going to click as much as it did? Were you surprised by the reaction to it? What was that like for you?
Well, it wasn't a surprise thing, but I was just grateful that people accepted the new style of music that we had been working on, taking rap and R&B and putting it together and coming up with New Jack Swing was just something me, Teddy Riley, and a few others, were just working on, and it was our sound, and we're just grateful that, people accepted it and picked up on it.
And is that how you describe what you're doing today still, or is it
it's
different now?
It's still the same old Bobby Brown, I try to change up, my style of, performing and singing, that's what I am, that's who I am.
And now touring, you toured, I think, last year with New Edition. How is it when you guys get together? Do you sort of pick up where you left off, or what's it like?
Well, I think we become better brothers and better friends. Since the last tour, we have a lot of fun together. Being on the bus touring together, we haven't done that in a while. So, it was just great to be around the guys and great to just reminisce on the bus and reminisce in hotels, and of situations and things that we had been through. And us being in the industry for 30 years, it was just the right time. And we're just grateful people came out to see it, and hopefully they'll come see the second leg.
And will you tour with again this year? Or?
Well, we're planning on a few shows this year. We're looking forward to going overseas, and because New Edition has never played overseas together, so we're looking forward to bringing on that show on the road overseas.
You never toured internationally with New Edition. That's interesting. Just never had the opportunity, or was this?
Well, we never had it wasn't that we didn't have the opportunity. We wasn't together when most of the hits really, popped off, when BBD and Ralph Tresvant and Johnny Gill and myself, I toured overseas as a solo act, but never with New Edition.
I don't want to get into specifics, of course, but obviously your name is in the headlines. Sometimes for your personal life, there's many things that have happened, and I wonder if it's hard to stay focused on the music. What's that like for you when so much is being written about you, but you're trying to perform and write music, and
I try not to let it bother me. I keep my family around me. I try to stay level-headed with grounded with being with my family and being able to live peacefully with them. So it really doesn't bother me. They can say what they want as long as they keep my name in their mouth. It doesn't really matter.
And do you feel like your image is misrepresented, or you misunderstood as far as Bobby Brown the person versus Bobby Brown the musician or the artist? Or
well, like I just said, it really doesn't bother me. My family knows who I am. My friends know who I am as a person. So it doesn't matter what they say about me, because the ones that love me know me. So I just go by that.
And what do you think is next for your career? What do you have left on your to-do list that you haven't gotten to do? Is this, in terms of your music?
Well, I'm on the move right now. I'm trying to stay busy as possible. Right now, I'm working on a new television series. I'm producing a lot of different television stuff. Looking forward to doing some movies this year. I'm looking forward to doing another New Edition album and another Heads of State album and tour. I'm just trying to stay busy. I also have a food line that I've been working on that I'm looking forward to getting in the stores.
Is that coming anytime soon, or?
Yes, it will be coming soon. Within the next year, you'll hear about it, and
okay.
People will be able to taste them on my trucks that I'm going to be putting across the country. I'm just looking forward to just staying busy and staying visible in people's eyesight, and people can hear what Bobby Brown is actually doing instead of other people saying what I'm doing.
When you say working on movies, you mean you're going to be doing some music for movies, or are you actually going to be in the movies?
I plan on acting.
Uh-huh.
I plan on, continuing my acting career.
Right.
I've been in, a few movies as far, but I plan on, getting back into that,
But nothing specific to mention right now, or?
No, not right now. I'm just working on a few things that
okay.
in the near future people will hear about.
I said, do you see this as kind of a career comeback, or do you feel like you never really left in the first place?
I don't feel I've really left. I take time off, of my career. This is a career for me. This is my livelihood. So, I haven't stopped. I just, I know where to place my time and my efforts, and I know just what God wants me to do, where He wants me to be at certain times. So, I try to separate my career and my livelihood and my family, spend as much time on each, that way I can give my full attention to whatever I'm doing. I just want everybody to look forward to the show and come on out. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to performing, and we're going to have a great time.
Okay, that's great. Thanks so much. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.